I think I want to address this salary issue. And so what I want to do is first say, from my position, I'm only speaking for myself, but the Journal has made this quite a big thing through their editorial process, and there are some people that think that we are overpaid. And so what I want to do is first make sure that we all understand the facts. And I don't have any prepared statement, really wasn't planning to talk about this, but I think that the citizens deserve to hear from the mayor exactly how I feel about it. So number one is the salary for the city commission was set, I believe, 17 years ago by Mayor Scott Hilburn. And he did it at a time believing that if you want quality people to step up and lead the city, that you needed, that was a fair pay at that time. That was 17 years ago. So when I ran for office many years ago, salary was never something that I really knew about. I didn't think about it. I ran because I wanted to serve the people of the city of Shelton. And one of the things I wrote in my campaign flyers was that I chose, if I elected, because I chose to give 10% of my income back to the city, 10% of my salary, and I did that faithfully for 4 years. What I did is, and I'm only speaking for myself, I'm not speaking for other commissioners, what I did is I took this job seriously, and I put full-time hours into a part-time job. And I will still continue to do that. I've attended over 1,000 meetings or events that were over 1,000 city-sponsored events. And I charged the city of Shelton for 700 of those. As commissioners for the city commission, we get $70 for a meeting. And I believe the Port and the Mason County commissioners, I believe, get 125 or 140, approximately double what we get. I have committed myself passionately to bring grant money back into this city. I have spent days on the road in my car driving to Eastern Washington and many, many hours sitting down with legislators over at the Capitol and department heads negotiating grant money to come back to this city. And I did it because I wanted to do it. I did it because I love the city. I did it because I had a passion to see us break the addiction of low-interest loans. And we succeeded. I formed a coalition called the Sewer Funding Coalition, which we've talked about before, which was the punch in getting the department heads and our legislators and even the governor himself to recognize the financial burdens that small cities go through in trying to replace extremely expensive infrastructure. And I did every one of those meetings, every one of those mileage in my car for the Sewer Funding Coalition at no charge to the city. I did not charge the city anything for those. And the millions, not thousands, some news agency, it wasn't the Journal, but some news agency said, and the mayor said he brought thousands of dollars back to the city of Shelton. Well, come on. Multi-millions of dollars, and we're still in that process. And there's still more millions. There's more multi-millions that I'm engaged in negotiating to bring back to the city. Again, you can get somebody to do something for just about anything, but if the city really wants quality people to step up and negotiate and do the job and bring multi-millions of dollars back in grants, if you really want that, you're going to have to pay them something. So the $25,000 a year is, I believe, below minimum wage, if not very close to it. And I feel that it is an okay wage. I don't have a problem with it. And as I said, the first 4 years I gave 10% back just because I wanted to make sure the citizens understood that my heart was to give them a bang for their buck. And I think I've done that. I think I fulfilled my part in that. And so I know, speaking for the other two commissioners that sit on this commission, they put themselves out there. They go to tons of meetings. And so we did not ask for this wage. This is something happened 17 years ago. And so at this point, especially during a politically charged environment, I would just say that I've done the best job I could, and I think that the wage is fine for what I'm doing. And I will continue to put myself out there 100% for the city, but that is my statement concerning how much we all get paid, which we all didn't vote ourselves in that money. So I hope this hasn't bored anybody, but it is where my heart is, and I love Shelton, and I want to continue to do what I can to make it, to go the extra mile to get all of our infrastructures paid for so that the people in this city, when that happens, we don't have to increase their sewer rates anymore. Okay? That's my goal, and I'm getting close to getting that accomplished. So thank you for hearing me. I snuck that into an administration report, and if you would like to speak, you're more than welcome to.
I would. That was actually, the subject was actually on my list of things to talk about. So I appreciate your comments. It has been really interesting with the comparison that came out, and I also talked to our former mayor about that, about how that came into being. And back at that time, he told me that exactly what you said, as far as they thought it was a way to attract more qualified people to, I don't know what the pay was before that, but I know it was a lot less. And so their idea at the time was to bring the Shelton Commission salary into line with other commissions. There were a number of other cities that still had commissions at that time, and they also looked at the port commissions and the county commissions, and came up with a number that they felt was in line with that. And I will say I was really surprised when I found out that we were the fourth highest. I knew that, and that's not exactly comparing apples to apples, but I knew that it was unusual to get paid the same amount that we did, because many of the council members that I had talked to from around the state were more along $400 a month with, some benefits, but not always. So it was kind of surprising to me. And the reason that I initially had asked the question is that it came up to me frequently as we are talking about the citizen initiative that will be on the ballot. People are saying, well, what happens with the salaries there? So I do think it's something that we may potentially have to address at some time. I will say that it's below minimum wage, definitely. I think, many times I'm sure that we all work at least a 40-hour week. So I don't know that for what we do, we're especially overpaid for the duties that we do, but we did sign up for it, and I believe that it is a public service. And so I'm willing to look at it, especially as we move forward, so that possibly during the budget process we can see what it would look like if indeed we do go to a 7-member council. So I guess that is my point.
All right, good conversation.